Welcome to another episode of Vital Doc Talk. And today on the show, we have Dr. Erin O'Maley. Dr. Erin, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Awesome. So Dr. Erin, why don't you give us a quick intro on your background?
I'm a chiropractor. I'm practicing in my hometown of Gloucester, Massachusetts. I'm a practitioner of functional medicine as well. And my primary chiropractic technique is torque release technique, which is a gentle neurologically based system of chiropractic analysis with an instrument, but I also adjust by hand. But it's really good for people who have more sensitive systems or people with autoimmune disease, where the manual adjusting isn't always the best thing for their bodies. And
Okay.
also I'm a mom of two boys, 4 and 1. So the way I've designed my practice and the way I define success is a little bit different, maybe than someone else would.
So how do you define success?
Well, I want to be able to be present at home and there with my boys most of the time, especially we were already considering homeschooling before COVID and everything, and now we're leaning more into homeschooling. So I have to really protect my time, and when I go into the practice, I really want it to be the ideal place for me where I feel pure joy every time I'm there, and I'm not feeling like it's taking away from my kids, and that the way I grow my practice isn't also taking time away from my kids.
I mean, yeah, we can definitely get into that time management piece as well later, on this show, because I know that's probably one of the challenges. So why don't we hop right into my favorite aspect of the show, though, the marketing piece. So what is your favorite marketing channel you've used, and how's it been working for you?
I focus on two things, and there are so many different social media platforms, and I really only want to put my energy into one. So I really like Instagram. I like it more than Facebook because it feels a little more authentic and fun to me. I post 80% about chiropractic, but on Instagram, I think people really like to see the backstage view. So it's a little more fun. And, I auto post to Facebook and everything, but I really spend most of my time on Instagram. And I feel like it's a long game. It took a good amount of time of being consistent to start to see results and people coming in from that. Once it did, I probably maybe have one patient a month find me on Instagram. Beyond that,
What do you mean by find you? Like, do they actually come into the office?
yeah. And beyond that, it also helps a lot with existing patients I've found who mean to schedule and forget, and then they see me on there, and then they remember that they want to schedule an appointment and come in. So it really helps in that regard too.
That's awesome. So when you say one patient a month, do you get one new patient coming into your practice per month, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. And then how much work does that take to get one patient? Because if it takes you hours and hours, it might not even be worth it.
Yeah, so at first it took more time, but now that I'm more used to using it, I'll batch some time, create a few posts, kind of prep them ahead of time, and then it's ready to go. So I'm probably spending less than an hour a week. And I aim to do about 3 posts a week. I sometimes will skip out for a while, but that's my goal, to be pretty consistently posting.
So basically, if it's an hour a week of posting, so this is something we can talk about on the show, which we rarely do, which is customer acquisition costs, right? So for the doctors listening out there, whenever you've got different channels, with the SEO, Instagram, word of mouth even, right? You've got costs that you're putting in before you get paid back, right? So let's say I'm putting in $100 of my time. So it's like 30 minutes of my time, for example, right? And I bill $200 an hour, which is true. And so if I spend 30 minutes with the doctor just on an intro call before they paid me, that's $100 I just spent, right? So 4 hours is how much it's costing Dr. Erin to generate one patient. So then for you guys listening, we don't have to go into your cost, Dr. Erin, obviously. But for you guys listening, then what you do is you'd say, okay, well, how much am I going to make for the lifetime of that patient? right?
Hmm.
So if they're spending whatever $300 a month or 500 or 1,000, right? Maybe it's now you've put only 4 hours of your time to make $5,000, right? That's definitely worth it. So
Yeah.
that's a great ROI, I think. It obviously depends, right? So for some people it might not be great, but I think for most doctors, if for every 4 hours they spent on something, they got that return, then that would be fantastic. So what are some of your tips for doctors that want to grow their Instagram account? Because I'm thinking if you do this right and you keep growing it, Dr. Erin, it'll probably be even less time and you probably get maybe even 2 patients per month, et cetera, right?
Yeah,
Growing.
yeah, it seems to build. So it took a while for it to be that consistent, but
Hmm.
once the presence was there, now it seems to bring back a lot more. Um, all right, what was the question? Oh, tips for, yeah, so
Yeah, tips for
I
growth.
think of it as being kind of like a catalog. So a catalog of my practice.
Hmm.
So like if you were gonna look in a magazine and see some features, you'd see a bunch of things featured about the practice.
Hmm.
The techniques I use, what I'm doing, for measures to keep people safe during COVID, all those kind of things, the supplements I offer, I'm just giving them little peeks at what's going on in the practice. And
Hmm.
and then that's 80% of the time. And then the other 20% is what I'm doing with the kids. It's like the backstage view. And I think people like to see that you're also living the lifestyle that you want for them to live a healthy lifestyle, and that you're practicing the things that you recommend to them.
100%. I 100% agree that you should practice the things you profess. For us, it's, building really just building great connections and showing the community we care. That's our value. That's what we want to show people. We've done our own SEO. I can show people, etc. So I think that's important. But the best thing you've said, I think that no one's ever said, is magazine. I've never thought of Instagram as a magazine, and that's actually given me a different light on how I should build up our company Instagram account. Right? If somebody was flipping through traditional magazine, what would they want to read? Right? What would the picture look like that you'd want it to look like if you were to get a feature page on there? And what would you want it to say? So that's awesome. I like that. Instagram's like a virtual magazine. So yeah, I was thinking like, what is Facebook? Like a book of faces? I don't know, but yeah. So that's really cool though. And then 20% of the time, the personal element. I think that's definitely true. I think with social media and technology, that barrier from, hey, I'm in a business suit, I'm the business guy, as maybe our parents used to do business that way. Now, it's not as rare to catch somebody in a t-shirt at the grocery store, et cetera, and you get a picture of them and you post it on Twitter, et cetera. You know.
and and when people know, like, and trust you already through Instagram, they're already, half of your job is done when they come in, and they know they're going to get help. They're going to listen to your recommendations. They already see you as the expert. So.
What did you struggle early on when you first started your Instagram account? Full disclosure, so if you go to our Logic Inbound Instagram page or even my personal, it's just like a bunch of quotes on there and that's it, and pictures. It's not a good one. So like, what did you struggle with? How'd you overcome those? Was it just practice? Is it a skill set? Or was there like an aha moment you had when you were like, okay, this is what I got to do every week?
No, I think just practice and consistency. I think just
Hmm.
making a plan and sticking to putting stuff out regularly is the biggest thing, because it's really easy just not to be consistent and fall off.
So there wasn't like an aha moment, right? It was just practice, consistency, and then you did like what, 2 to 3 posts a week, probably.
Yeah.
Do you use stories at all?
Yeah, but not as effectively as I could be, probably.
Mhm.
Like, I do that a little bit with the personal element. Sometimes I do show off what's going on in the office, but I would like to start doing more like show and tell posts, or recording people's testimonials. I'm pretty good at collecting testimonials, but I'd like to practice doing more video testimonials. People are a
Yeah,
little resistant to getting on camera.
that I'm sure. Camera can be stressful for some people. For me, it's okay. I'll make a fool out of myself. That's just I accept that, and then we grow from there. Um, so in terms of your Instagram account and growth, did you see it peak? Have you tried like exchanging accounts or like featuring other Instagram influencers in your campaign yet? What have you done to make it grow to get more followers? Deep question. There is, I'm sure there is a lot of different tactics, right?
Yeah, I couldn't point to just one thing. I
Mhm.
do point to other businesses in town a lot, especially when COVID started and a lot of different businesses started offering more online things. And so to support local business in the community, I did do a lot of posts that were sharing what other people were doing in town.
Mhm.
Like a friend of mine who started doing fitness online, and I was taking her classes. I shared a bunch of her things, and the yoga studio started doing virtual classes and those kind of things. So a little bit like strategic business alliances, but more casual, just like in an organic way. I'm not forcing anything. I'm just sharing what I would normally to support the community in town.
Okay, I like that. And then did that get you a lot of followers? Does it get you 1 to 2 followers a week? Are you tracking followers even, or do you think that, no, people just shouldn't do that and it'll just naturally come?
I don't track that stuff very much. No.
Hmm.
No, I mean, I always just ask people where they come from when they come into the office. So I'm not like sitting on Instagram watching what happens, but when people come in, I ask them, how did you hear about the practice? So then
You
that's,
know, I like that because Gary Vaynerchuk, he's a famous personality on for social media, and he talks about how it's not just about how many followers you have, but how deep of a relationship you have with your followers.
right. There's definitely quality over quantity. So it doesn't matter if I've got 4,000 followers if only 20% of them are local. Who cares? I've got a local business for the most part.
Makes sense. And you mentioned COVID, right? So let's talk about the challenges. So how have you overcome different challenges that have popped up during this time? And what would your suggestions be for other doctors?
Um, It was funny because I moved into a new office and opened the office the week it hit here and everything shut down. Um, the biggest challenge was not having childcare. I was able to stay open because chiropractic is an essential service, and so I stayed open, but I had no childcare, so my hours were heavily reduced. So it helped having the online presence because everyone went online, and even if what I have just that consistency over time, people can find me and they know exactly who I am. The other practices in town don't really have much of any presence online. So
Yes.
when that hit, that's the only place people were meeting. So I think that really did help out. Um, and so now that the childcare situation is solved and my mom's taking kids again and everything, I'm busier than I was before. I'm much busier. I'm probably going to be, at least with my hours, at capacity pretty soon. So that was because people are starting to value their health more, and with the amount of stress that this has put, a lot of people need help recovering from the amount of stress that's settled into their bodies over the last 3 months. They're ready to go out
Hmm.
again. So I'm busier than ever. Another thing
Yeah.
that helped was having a good practice growth community that I'm in through a Facebook group called the Genius Room. That's other chiropractors, and that helped keep me, sane, not going into panic mode when everything hit too. But it worked out okay.
I think that's awesome. Yeah, guys, I guess that there's another tip for you out there. Whenever you're in a challenge, try to find others that are facing the same challenge either currently or have overcome it. And then, that helped keep Dr. Erin sane. So hopefully it'll help you as well. And then, go all in on digital marketing because the people that had a presence online and had a little bit of a foothold, that turned into probably a huge, huge advantage during this time. So hats off to you, Dr. Aaron, for actually having that Instagram account. And
Yeah.
now, hopefully, as you get super full, you can raise your prices, um, for the future. So, if a doctor was listening to you and they wanted to start Instagram, right? They wanted to do this account. What would your kind of one tip or one trick be to start the account on the right foot?
It doesn't have to be big. Little things that you don't think of that you do every day could be a feature post. Um, you know, if I change the chalkboard sign, can do that. Just a lot of things that you're doing every day so it doesn't take more time, because I'm all about that, not taking more time from my family and making it pretty set it and forget it. So trying to think of an example, but just
tell us the most
share
recent
a
posting.
story about someone that came in that day and how grateful you are to be doing the work you're doing. It can be very small. And so that's why I like Instagram, because it feels pretty organic to me. I don't feel like I spend a lot of time because the ideas just come to me as the day goes.
I like that. You know, I think that's a great takeaway tip. A lot of time we're stuck in analysis paralysis. So if you simply just start, even with something small, as simple as something you've talked to a client about that day, I think that those are all fantastic topics, especially on social. And that's like an aha moment I had months ago that I forgot about that you reminded me of. So I guess there it is, guys. You just start, just post on Instagram, and as you go on through time, through experimentation, then you'll get better and better and you'll build up that momentum. Dr. Erin, your turn for the show. You know, plug it up. Where can we find you? You know, what should we be reading and learning more about?
On Instagram, I'm at O'Maley DC, so O'Maley with one L, DC.
Hmm.
And I'm there on Facebook too. Website's o'maleydc.com, so you can find me any of those places.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. And that was another episode of Vital Doc Talk.
Thank you.